Whether or not to obtain a permit for electrical work often depends on several factors, including local regulations, the scope of the work, and the potential impact on the electrical system. Local building codes and ordinances typically dictate when a permit is required for electrical work. These regulations vary widely from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Some areas require permits for any electrical work, while others may only require permits for major renovations or new construction. The scope of the electrical work being performed also influences whether a permit is needed. Minor electrical repairs, such as replacing a switch or outlet, may not require a permit in some jurisdictions. However, larger projects, such as rewiring a room or installing a new electrical panel, typically require a permit. Electrical work that has the potential to impact the safety or integrity of the electrical system is more likely to require a permit. For example, adding new outlets or feeders can affect the electrical load in the system. Installing a new electrical panel or rewiring an existing one requires special expertise and safety considerations. The electrical contracting companies have varying policies regarding permits. Some companies may obtain permits for all electrical work, regardless of the scope. Others may only get permits when required by law or when the homeowner specifically requests one. There are several benefits to obtaining a permit. Building codes and inspections ensure that electrical work is performed to a safe and code-compliant standard. Homeowners' insurance policies may require proof of a permit for electrical work. A property with a permitted electrical system is more attractive to potential buyers. Failing to obtain a required permit can result in fines, sanctions, or even having to remove the unpermitted work. There are also risks of not obtaining a permit. Unpermitted electrical work can pose safety risks, such as electrical fires or shocks. Homeowners' insurance may deny a claim if the damaged electrical system was unpermitted. Homeowners or contractors can be held legally liable for any damages or injuries caused by unpermitted electrical work. It is recommended to consult with local building officials or a licensed electrician to determine the permit requirements for specific projects. Obtaining a permit provides a peace of mind, ensures safety, and protects homeowners from insurance and legal risks. Always prioritize safety and compliance when dealing with electrical systems. Ignoring local regulations can lead to serious repercussions. Make sure you know what is required in your jurisdiction. You can usually find this information on your city or county's website. The scope of the work is also very important. Replacing a light fixture is much different than replacing an entire service panel. The service panel routes electricity into the building or property. The service panel typically has one main circuit breaker that switches all the power to the building off and on. It also has multiple smaller circuit breakers, each of which protects a different circuit in the building. Any electrical work beyond changing a light fixture should be done by a qualified electrician. If you are not an electrician, do not attempt to do any electrical work yourself. Electricity is extremely dangerous. Do not take unnecessary risks. Electrical fires can destroy property and cause death. Electrical shock can result in death as well. If you are not a qualified electrician, call one. Be certain that the electrician you hire is licensed and insured. Verify that they are both. Ask to see proof of licensure and insurance. A qualified electrician will be able to determine what permits are needed for the work you want to be done. They will also know the local electrical codes. It is very important that all electrical work is completed in accordance with all applicable codes. This ensures the safety of everyone who uses the electrical system. An electrical system should be inspected periodically by a qualified electrician. This is especially true of older systems. Over time, wires can become brittle and insulation can crack or fall off. This can create a dangerous situation. A qualified electrician will be able to identify potential problems and correct them before they cause a fire or injury. Never overload an electrical circuit. This can cause the wires to overheat and start a fire. If you are using an extension cord, make sure that it is the correct gauge for the appliance you are using. A light gauge extension cord can overheat if it is used with a high amperage appliance. Always unplug appliances when you are not using them. This will save energy and reduce the risk of fire. If you see any signs of electrical problems, such as flickering lights, sparking outlets, or burning smells, call a qualified electrician immediately. Do not try to fix the problem yourself. Electricity is very dangerous, and you could be seriously injured or killed. Consider a few factors regarding the scope of work. Firstly, is the work a simple repair or a new installation? Secondly, how much of the electrical system will be affected? Thirdly, what is the voltage and amperage of the circuit involved? Fourthly, are you working with low voltage or high voltage? Fifthly, does the project involve any new wiring or alterations to existing wiring? Sixthly, does the project require any special tools or equipment? Seventhly, does the project require any specialized knowledge or training? Eighthly, are you comfortable working with electricity? Ninthly, do you have any experience working with electrical systems? Tenthly, are you familiar with local electrical codes? The potential impact on the electrical system is also a key consideration. Firstly, will the work increase the load on the electrical system? Secondly, will the work affect the grounding of the electrical system? Thirdly, will the work affect the surge protection of the electrical system? Fourthly, will the work create any new hazards? Fifthly, will the work comply with all applicable electrical codes? Sixthly, will the work be safe for everyone who uses the electrical system? Seventhly, will the work be inspected by a qualified electrical inspector? Eighthly, will the work be properly documented? Ninthly, will the work be performed by a qualified electrician? Tenthly, will the work be done in a professional manner? Permits are related to safety. Building codes and inspections ensure that electrical work is performed to a safe standard. Insurance companies may require proof of a permit for electrical work. A property with a permitted electrical system is more attractive to potential buyers, and failing to obtain a required permit can result in fines. Not obtaining a permit can result in safety hazards such as electrical fires or shocks. Homeowners insurance may deny a claim if the damaged electrical system was unpermitted. Homeowners or contractors can be held legally liable for any damages or injuries caused by unpermitted electrical work. It is wise to consult with local building officials or a licensed electrician to determine the permit requirements for specific projects. Getting a permit ensures safety and protects homeowners from insurance and legal risks. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a set of standards for electrical safety in the United States. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and it is important to be familiar with the latest version of the code. The NEC covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. The NEC is not law, but it is often adopted by state and local governments as part of their building codes. The NEC is published by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. The NFPA is a non-profit organization that develops and publishes codes and standards for fire safety. The NEC is one of the most widely used codes in the world. Many electricians also use the UGLES Electrical References Book. Many electricians also make use of online resources and forums. An electrician should be familiar with series and parallel circuits. In a series circuit, the current flows through each component in the circuit in turn. The total resistance of a series circuit is the sum of the resistances of each component. In a parallel circuit, the current divides between each component in the circuit. The total resistance of a parallel circuit is less than the resistance of the smallest component. Firstly, consider voltage drop. Voltage drop is the decrease in voltage along a conductor due to the resistance of the conductor. Voltage drop can cause problems with electrical equipment, such as lights dimming or motors running slowly. The NEC specifies the maximum allowable voltage drop for branch circuits and feeders. Secondly, consider overcurrent protection. Overcurrent protection is the protection of electrical circuits and equipment from excessive current. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to interrupt the flow of current when it exceeds a certain level. The NEC specifies the overcurrent protection requirements for different types of circuits and equipment. Thirdly, consider grounding. Grounding is the connection of electrical circuits and equipment to the earth. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to protect people from electric shock. The NEC specifies the grounding requirements for different types of circuits and equipment. Fourthly, consider bonding. Bonding is the connection of different metal parts of an electrical system together. Bonding helps to ensure that all metal parts are the same electrical potential, which reduces the risk of electric shock. The NEC specifies the bonding requirements for different types of electrical systems. The NEC Table 310.15b16 provides ampacities of insulated conductors rated up to and including 2000 volts, 60 degrees Celsius through 90 degrees Celsius. These are not all the tables, as some ampacities are listed elsewhere in the NEC. The ampacity of a conductor is the maximum current that it can carry continuously without exceeding its temperature rating. The ampacity of a conductor depends on several factors, including the size of the conductor, the type of insulation, and the ambient temperature. Conductors must be sized appropriately for the load they will be carrying. If a conductor is too small, it will overheat and could cause a fire. Circuit breakers and fuses are designed to protect conductors from overcurrent. If a circuit breaker or fuse trips, it is important to determine the cause of the overcurrent before resetting the breaker or replacing the fuse. Electrical work should always be performed by a qualified electrician. If you are not familiar with electrical codes and safety procedures, you could be seriously injured or killed.